BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Never fear, I am back. I'm Dan, I'm your regular host. Back to BRB UK. My apologies for being away for 2 weeks.
Not forgiven, Dan.
I was doing science. I was doing COVID science specifically, so kind of thought it had to take a tad priority over playing video games. But I've now got my priorities straight again, you'll be pleased to hear. And I'm back for this episode 408, and I'm joined as ever by Coleman.
Hi!
Nice Warlock t-shirt, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And,
especially for those on the
Tim,
video.
hello.
Hello.
Good work on putting on clothes. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Top half of those.
Clothes.
How are we both?
Although I do have BigRedBarel t-shirt on.
Do you now? Well, talking
really
of
old.
BigRedBarel themed goodies, I'm currently in the process of updating my my Dan cave, if you will.
Your Dan cave.
My Dan cave. And I took delivery because it's a little bit echoey, the room I record in. But I took delivery of a rather nice custom BRB UK acoustic panel, which I shall share photos of at some point. It's quite exciting. In fact, it made Coleman super jealous, so I thought I'd mention it again and make him even more jealous.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. I like it.
In,
It's art.
reduce your
It's
echoes.
useful art.
in what sounds like a humble brag, my room is too big to put acoustic stuff in.
Really? Nice. So, did we all have fun spending money that we don't have this week in the rash of pre-orders that occurred
I
since last
spent
episode?
way more money than I have. I man-maxed the hell out of this week.
Can we just remind listeners, over the last 2 weeks, Tim has regularly said that he doesn't have money and can't afford things. So what have you bought now, Tim?
Good
What
news
I
for
would
me
like
is I
some
should have more money
eagle-eared
by
listener
November.
to do
So
on our behalf
this is good.
is note the number of times that Tim refers to his ill-advised purchases as an investment during this episode, okay? Because that's usually the crap he pulls. All right. I attempted to purchase an RTX 3080 and failed.
Good.
Oh.
That's boring anyway.
No, it's really not, mate. It's the graphics card that looks at your puny next gen consoles and does a little titter. I mean, Nvidia just absolutely screwed the pooch on their store page. Not only did it rate limit itself, they also didn't have any bot protection on something that's in limited supply. So they sold through their whole stock in about 10 seconds.
Russia's got them all.
Have they ever sold to the PC market before?
Nvidia?
Yeah, like you would have thought that bots would be something they'd be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, but apparently even they underestimated the demand for the 3080 cards because they're such a big leap. And today the 3090 did release, but I took one look at the price tag on that and went, more than twice the price for 10% extra performance? I don't think so. Thank you very much.
It would perform very well, and it does look nice, but I do like food. So, and
Dan,
heating.
Have you thought about thinking of it as an investment?
No, it really isn't an investment. The only way I could have potentially decided it was an investment would be if I was still self-employed rather than working for a company these days. Then I could have said, all right, this is a business expense because I do science, and science sometimes needs tensor cores. But even I couldn't justify that. Sorry. See? Self-control, Timothy. Self-control.
Well, I exhibited none of that this week.
Right,
None.
what did you get?
Graphics card.
Without a PC. I bought five RTX 3080s.
He's going to tape them to the PlayStation.
They have pre-ordered a PS5.
Right.
I think we were all expecting that one.
Yeah, you said that last
Yes,
time.
I mean, good luck in winning the hit Smash F5 repeatedly lottery. Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I kind of. Did we talk about this last
Yes,
week, Coleman?
in excruciating detail.
Yeah, Dan hasn't gone through this, so I'll save everyone that. But ordered the PS5 and ordered the disc-based version, Dan. So just so you're up to date.
Okay, good. I can sleep easy now, Tim. Thank you.
Tim is anything but discless.
I kind of thought about, well, what I kind of went on to was, well, if I order one of the Xbox Series S's on the kind of deal that they've got, the, was it Xbox All Areas or whatever it is?
All Access. Which is, can I just say, chaps, we have called that so many times is what they're going to do with Ultimate and Series X. You're welcome, Microsoft. I hope the check's in the post.
Oh, good. But yeah, did not envisage the problem with that I then saw on the actual day of release.
Which was?
People's websites were getting hammered so hard, and going through all the setup for the credit side of things, you had to do partially through their website as well, and added an extra level of complication to the deal. So, yeah, I just bought an S. I managed to get one in my basket, and I bought an S outright rather than doing the good deal of doing it on the All Access thing, basically.
So you've got this gen, just a standard Xbox One. You don't have a Series X or anything like that.
Yeah, I know. I haven't upgraded my Xbox at all, so I've got the launch Xbox. So for me, it's even more of an upgrade going to an S than.
And
so
have you got a 4K telly or just a 1080p?
I do have a 4K TV, but I'm half thinking of this ending up in my bedroom rather than my lounge, where I don't have a 4K TV. And worst comes to the worst, it ends up staying in my lounge. I'm not massively bothered. And as I said, it's such an upgrade to my existing Xbox for not much more price. One way or around or the other, I'll have the Xbox One that I'll keep in here and the other one in my bedroom because they're good media servers as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think the S is, if you're just wanting to kind of keep your toe in the water with what's coming along the pipe with Xbox, I think you could do a lot worse. I mean, I just because EA Play Basic is coming to Game Pass. I've just closed out my EA Play subscription. I finally run out of extra super cheap Xbox Ultimate, which was only costing me £2 a month for a long while. But now I'm paying full whack for that. But it's such
full whack's only
deal.
£12.
Yeah, I know. For the amount you're getting for £12 is pretty blinding. But I think I didn't pre-order either console, not because I'm a PC playing snob, but just because
that's kind of it.
It is a little bit, but I do virtually. We've only got one telly in the house at the moment, and I couldn't.
One telly's all you need.
Yeah, but Sarah does like to watch things sometimes on the telly, and I couldn't really justify the cost, bearing in mind where I do most of my gaming these days. So
yeah, and that means you can buy a nicer monitor.
Look, I'm going to see where things are at middle of next year, but also very first hardware revisions can sometimes be a tad dicey as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the S not having the disc component, that's one less thing to go wrong as well. And I don't know about you.
Now the hard drive's corrupt.
Seeing all the stats for what's going on.
No, it doesn't have a hard drive. It has a super sexy drive.
Super sexy drive. And the only problem with that is
very small one. It's like a nubbin or an acorn.
Is the size of the super sexy drive. It's a bit small, possibly. But then remembering that the S versions of games are slightly smaller than the X versions of games as well. So, and yeah, it does seem like more comparable. A lot of people are saying that in some ways that, if you're comparing processing speed power, the Xbox S is actually slightly faster than the PS5 in that regard. It's just, it doesn't do 4K, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you're pushing 1/4 of the pixels, aren't you? So
yeah. So but at the
end of the day,
I think it's something that, as you said, keeps my toe in the water. Means that even if I'm not doing much more than just using Game Pass, it's still a good thing. And as I said, they've done a good job of putting themselves in that second position and making it that I did end up getting a console on launch, which I wasn't really planning on. As I said, the $20.99 a month to get an access to a console and get Game Pass as well, that's a really good deal.
Well, the Series X was $28.99, I believe, was the all access pass, which actually I did the maths on it. Is cheaper than buying it separately and paying for 24 months worth of
you
Ultimate,
save money,
but you are obviously locked into Ultimate for that time.
I'll probably just wait until Xboxes are readily available and then go for that myself, rather than trying to play the F5 game.
I'm going to wait till. I'm going to keep occasionally forlornly checking Nvidia's website, but. I probably will wait until the inevitable kind of revision hardware comes out, I think. Certainly for the PS5. I don't know about the Xbox yet.
Yeah. I don't know. Might not be so relevant for you guys and might be too late with the bit of information I know for our listeners, but apparently Argos are getting a restock tomorrow of PS5s. And I think that will probably be sold out by the time our listeners are listening to it. But there may be other retailers getting other restocks as we go as well. So keep an eye out if you do want to pre-order one. Most of the stores are talking about that.
Whatever you do not buy one for an inflated price on eBay. You're just encouraging that behaviour. They're absolute arseholes, those people. And if you're one of them, frankly, turn the podcast off. I don't want you listening anymore. All right?
I saw a story where someone, they put one up on eBay and like, here's my pre-order, here's the proof, I will sell you this PlayStation. And they forgot to redact the information, the purchase information. So someone took from that screenshot, contacted the store and cancelled the order.
Nice.
I like that. Can I tell you my PlayStation 5?
Tell us your story of woe, Tom.
Although I will say I pre-ordered something else this morning as well, but yeah.
Whoa, what?
What? Coleman, you do your story first because it's probably more relevant to what we just talked about.
Last week I said I felt that the PlayStation 5 stuff and the Xbox stuff to an extent had been horribly mismanaged, and not just through PlayStation but the stores as well. And I just didn't want to be any part of that. Seemed like a lot of stress for not a great payout for having a console that I'll have one game on at launch ready. So I wasn't going in for the PlayStation 5. And then on Friday morning, so I've been up editing the podcast till God knows what time in the morning. I've had a couple of hours sleep, woke up all groggy to get my coffee. And then my girlfriend gets up and gives me a big kiss and a cuddle and goes, I bought you a PlayStation 5.
Oh.
And I went, huh? And she went, I bought you a PlayStation 5. I went, really? She goes, I think.
Oh dear.
It's like, it could be worse. Like the Xbox, it's like there's going to potentially be a lot of disappointed kids because of the naming scheme. Our kids going to be getting an Xbox One X or a Series X.
No, she's actually been the victim of a server overload on Argos's website. So what happened? And this happened to her brother as well. The exact same thing. They made an order. It went through. Money went out the account. No confirmation.
Oh.
And this happened to thousands of people that pre-ordered PlayStation 5s, but because the server crashed and they had them in their basket, it allowed them to go through with it, not complete the transaction, but took the money out the account anyway. And some people who then went, oh, it's crashed. Okay, I'll do it again. They've been charged like 2 or 3 times for PlayStation 5s for money out their account that they can't afford. All of a sudden, you know, if you're pre-ordering one and you can't afford it and you can't afford the money at your account, you shouldn't be pre-ordering. But if you pre-order and 3 times the amount comes out your account, that's a big problem.
Jesus.
Now, I think it took like 2 days to get the money back, but that's what happened. So we don't have a PlayStation 5.
Oh, well, it's the thought that counts.
It is, and I was chuffed that she tried, but then she got a bit fascinated with trying to buy one. But no dice. I've told her, wait when they're in stock. I'll go and get them, but don't pre-order. Yeah. It's fine.
I don't know if it was the time I ordered, but yeah, I had a more difficult time pre-ordering the Xbox, despite warning of the time it was coming, than I did with the PS5.
I mean, Sony dropped the ball in a number of quite spectacular ways, but I mean, I think a lot of it. Well, I don't know how much of it is due to supply constraints because of COVID, obviously, hampering supply chains. I'd imagine that's all of these companies, be it Nvidia, Microsoft, Sony, all of them are facing stock constraints because the whole logistics pipeline behind all of these big electronics manufacturing operations is everything is just in time, that they don't have any dead stock.
That'll excuse them. That'll excuse them if things are delayed or
no, but
it doesn't really excuse. Doesn't really excuse the problems that people have had in pre-ordering.
No, I mean, the stuff with digital stores is ridiculous, and that should never happen, what Coleman's just described. But it is highly likely that there are going to be fewer units than all of these companies had planned for available at launch, at the very least. I
mean, I think the main big problem is not so much how many launch units are available, but stores just aren't equipped for this kind of shenanigan because, I'll go with Argos just because they had the biggest one that I saw that people actually got charged for something they didn't get.
No, I mean, that's just not on.
No.
Maybe that's why they've got a restock as well anyway.
When does Argos ever need to be able to overpower their servers and get ready for something of this magnitude? They don't. And they probably knew this was going to happen, not to this, like what happened, but they probably knew they were going to have site crashes and stuff because of this and server overload and what have you. But like, what do? Pour a load of money in for one day of the 5 years?
No, but right, I don't blame them for their servers dying, but they should have better, like through software or through there should be better checks and balances for you are not getting this purchase, therefore we are not taking your money. Like that's something that should definitely exist and definitely have stopped this from taking people's money. Like there's no excuse for not having that in place.
I mean, my general rule of thumb is purchasing anything online, if you can, use a credit card or PayPal, because there is inbuilt buyer protection there. If you're using your debit card, it's a lot more difficult to get your cash back.
Yeah, you're basically just giving someone your bank details, so...
hats off to the guy that was on Twitter posing as Argos customer services and then just giving people a load of lip because that entertained me all day. But they were just nice. It's like, well, what happens to my money? Oh, it'll be with you in like 2.5 months. Well, that doesn't seem fair. Well, we just weren't prepared for it. What are you going to do? Stuff like that. It's brilliant.
Nice. But it's not only us who have been on attempted spending sprees. Microsoft.
Just before you go there, though, I did pre-order one other thing, as I said.
Oh, yes.
Just to
quickly mention.
VR2.
No, they came out today. I avoided pre-ordering a Quest 2, as I mentioned last week, but I couldn't resist the Mario Kart Live, is it called, or whatever?
Oh, you bought a little go-kart.
Yeah, so I got a Mario one and coming out today. And I was wrong on one point, Coleman, as well. They are multiplayer. You can play up to 4 of them together.
How many did you get in the pack?
1. Oh. And it's £100.
Whoa!
Yeah, Oof. That's why I said I was stupid.
Jesus, give this man some financial advice. Christ, Tim.
I need to find someone else that buys one so we can play 2-player.
Listeners, if you can think of an appropriate drop for whenever Tim spends a stupid amount of money on stupid things, can you send that to me and I'll pop it on the board? Because I think we need one now. It's becoming regular.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about spending sprees, Dan.
Yep, spending
sprees. Even Microsoft can put Tim's spending spree to shame in a bit of a... Well, it's a very interestingly timed announcement, let's put it that way, between the PS5 launch and the Xbox Series X launch. They've only just gone and bought Zenimax and, by extension, Bethesda. So Microsoft are now responsible for the dumpster fire that is Fallout 76. Congratulations. No, but I mean, Microsoft, in particular, Xbox, I mean... They've paid $7.5 billion. To put that into context, they paid 2.5, I believe.
Can I put that into a slightly different context as well?
Yes, that is 7.5, I think, quintillion blackjacks.
Isn't it?
Or penny sweets.
Isn't it almost double what Disney paid for Lucas?
Yes. It's a buttload of money.
I might have that wrong. Someone will tell me in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a buttload of money. I mean, a lot of people were worried that this was going to mean that you're never going to see Fallout, Elder Scrolls, anything like that.
Fallout 77.
Fallout 77, Fallout. You won't be able to play that awesome Fallout 76 DLC that's coming. I believe it's Fallout 76 Beating a Dead Horse.
Is that the one where NPCs act like NPCs, or did they do that one already?
Did that one already.
$4 billion they paid for LucasArts.
Yeah.
There you go, more than double.
So it's nearly twice. I mean, a lot of people worried that this was going to mean that everything that comes out of Zenimax is going to be an Xbox exclusive or an Xbox/PC exclusive. I mean, it also includes, let's not forget, id Software as well, which includes, so obviously Doom and all of that respective goodness. So look, I mean, I could see why people would be worried, but Microsoft, if they really wanted to play hardball, could have done that with Minecraft as well. But that has come out just about anything with a screen. We might go back to the bad old days of timed exclusives, but if they have bought these studios and the kind of their revenue is actually a little more dependent on multiple platform sales, I don't think in the near term, at least, you'll see all of these things like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom become Xbox or PC exclusive.
Well, but I think they will be timed exclusive.
In the near term. It might be a longer term play, but I mean, I do think I've been quite astounded, bearing in mind where the Xbox arm of Microsoft was 5-6 years ago, following the release of the Xbox One, where frankly the CEO of Microsoft looked like they were frankly going to.
My Xbox just turned on. Sorry, because I said Xbox arm.
Xbox One. There we go. They were thinking of selling the Xbox arm of the business, but look how they've turned it around. I mean, Phil Spencer's really played the long game on this, but I think Phil Spencer's business now, even if you don't like Xbox themselves, if you're more of a PlayStation gamer or PC gamer, they've done an incredible job turning round the
Apart from
Xbox.
Names.
Yeah.
still bad at names.
Did you hear about the Xbox One X's selling out because people think they're Xbox Series?
747% increase in sales.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of disappointed kids this year in around the Christmas tree.
I think you're exactly right, Dan. Like in the current climate of Xbox and the way they've positioned themselves for this generation, like the focus seems to be on games services, not games as a service, game services, publishing games, and that's the more focus.
And having games,
we've got the bigger,
up.
better console, and it's kind of a far cry from. I mean, if they purchased Zenimax and Matrick was still in charge, then yes, I think they would be going, right, we've got all these exclusives automatically. But in the case of Spencer, it does seem like they're a more open company. Like they publish games on the Minecraft deals. They've just put out a Minecraft update on PlayStation that lets you use PlayStation VR. They released Cuphead and Ori and the Will of the Wisps on Nintendo Switch. So
yeah, but not on PS4.
Not on PS4. Not yet.
See, this is where this will get a bit tricky. Like, I do think it's quite funny that the next two games, I think, that are due out from many of these studios have been signed up as PlayStation 5 exclusives already, basically. Timed exclusive.
Yes, that's Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo. But yeah, that's probably not going to continue much longer. You could see the timed exclusives going on the other foot. You could also see the exclusive content on Xbox, like PlayStation have done with Spider-Man and stuff like that. You could see Microsoft playing hardball in the same way that PlayStation have, sort of done through this generation, basically.
I think they're all obviously always going to have the option to do that, but whether or not they will, I'm not sure they will. I mean, it's certainly not at the moment. That doesn't seem to be their game plan. But carry on, commentary.
Sorry, and kind of early reports seem to indicate that the way this arrangement has worked out is that Bethesda is kind of semi-independent while under the umbrella of Microsoft, where they're still running as kind of a publishing house themselves, Just they're making
but Microsoft's
they're funded for it,
platform
basically.
publisher.
So some of these decisions will still be in their own wheelhouse. So we'll have to see what that is going forward. But I don't think you're going to end up with the next Elder Scrolls just being an Xbox exclusive.
Right, but I also don't think that they're going to be able to make those decisions in a complete vacuum. I think
I don't
those
think that
conversations will be, they'll have someone from Microsoft present around the table when they're having those conversations of it, no?
But the other benefit, kind of the tangential benefit for that, whilst obviously anyone, if they've got enough dosh, can buy a developer kit for a console, what this will give Microsoft additional information and intelligence on is where the pinch points are in the PlayStation's architecture, if there's anything they wish to iterate on in the future, or have an idea of where they might be falling short relative to the PS5. So there's a good kind of hardware iteration and engineering angle on this as well, that, you've got these very talented team of very talented programmers pushing both consoles to the limit, and they will get an idea, relatively speaking, of where and how the Xbox X stacks up to the PS5.
And like you say, they're already saying, that they will play nice, or, kind of alluding to that a little bit, but remains to be seen. It's the video game industry. Things can change.
Thing is, it could change. It could very well change. It could change overnight. We could wake up tomorrow and they go, actually, these are ours. We want them. We're going to make our own Smash Brothers, and it'll have Bethesda characters, and that could happen. But at the same time, look what happened when they basically bought a timed exclusive for Tomb Raider. What was the second Tomb Raider?
Yeah. Exactly. No one cares.
When that happened, the backlash they had for that, and people refusing to buy it purely for that reason.
I mean, I think Microsoft are a lot less, or certainly the Xbox part of Microsoft is a lot less tone deaf about how that stuff actually makes people feel. Or they are, or they seem to be at the moment, or they're doing a better job of communicating it at the very least. Whereas Sony still is very much still playing hardball with exclusives. And I think Microsoft don't want to be that guy or girl, so to speak.
Well, they don't want to be seen to be that guy. I'm not sure.
Again, but this is all, I'm sure it's all part of a much longer plan.
Yeah, I think
I think that plan is good and working well. No, like you've seen it in good effect coming into this generation, I think, and we'll see how that bears out when we see sales numbers.
But no matter which way you cut it, Phil Spencer has played a bit of a blinder whilst he's been steering the ship Xbox.
Yeah, it really does give the impression out of if we just go for the big three, the Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox are the ones that seem to have eyes on the future. They're driving towards it, kind of. Yeah, they're definitely looking. I mean, it felt like that with the announcement of the Xbox One when they went, "Oh, here's all these things that are going to be part of this system," and then everyone boo, and they took everything out and went, "Wow,
but look, it's got two HDMI ports."
Well, then as we're going on forward, like some of that stuff started to creep back in, and there's, they think very far ahead in the future, and it's just whether or not they need to iterate a load of big change at once, which they tried doing, or sort of trickle it out over time, which they seem to be doing now. But they've always got a bigger picture in mind by the looks of it.
Yeah, and they seem to be alluding to like taking advantage of unique parts of the Xbox, not architecture, but the kind of Xbox system of games and stuff like that, in terms of how they're looking at developing Starfield and stuff like that. So, as you say, like it's not just the developers giving information to the console manufacturers, but also, sort of pushing back and getting that going the other way as well, where like the hardware they might take advantage of the hardware, and the games take advantage of that so much that it might feel like an integral part that's missing when it moves over to PlayStation, possibly,
Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, though, like, good time for gamers. Again, the whole Bethesda news is great news for Game Pass as well, That really adds another string to the bow of Game Pass again. And
really increases the value proposition for PC again as well, since, a lot of Bethesda games feel very at home on the PC as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and also they also make like deep gamers games, if you see what I mean, right? And like quite gamers long content games as well. So it's also bringing those to Game Pass brings a lot of hours of gaming to Game Pass as well, basically.
Gamers like gaming games.
I'm a gamer and I love gamers games.
I love gamers games.
Gamers for gamery gamers.
Hi, my name's My name's Gamers Games.
My name's
and I
Gaza
approve this
Gamers,
message.
and I love Gamers Games.
But it's not all people who love video games all the time. Sometimes you need to take a bit of a break. And Michel Ancel, him of creator of Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil fame, is starting off a new life by LARPing Pokemon, as far as I
He's
can work
jumping
out.
from a sinking ship.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here, suckers!
Screw you
And he's-
guys, I'm
and-
going home.
And he's going to be chasing little furry animals around the wilderness of France.
Is this because Wild fell through? So he's gone,
Might be.
sod it.
Well, no, he's still.
Well, with
that's
all this
still
with a French
happening, apparently.
accent, and he's gone, sod it. I'm opening a
Sod
wildlife
it.
sanctuary.
I will go and make a wildlife sanctuary. I no longer want the gamers games. I want to play the wildlife
I
games.
leave that to
I like the
Bethesda.
Pokemon. I like the Pokemon, but I disagree with the way they have that accent on the E. So I shall look for the Pokemon in real life. I shall try and coax badgers out of their holes.
Yeah.
To see him
Michel
trapping
Ancel's
like
Thanks,
badgers
Michelle,
in
for that
Pokeballs.
exclusive interview. It's really quite appreciated. Thank you.
It was and wasn't shocking that this is how. I mean, 30 years in the industry, but he's now not working on video games anymore, and he's going to. Well, he's opening a wildlife sanctuary, and that's his big thing now. And instantly, I lost all interest in Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, like I think he has by the sounds of it as well, though that's the bad thing. But yeah, it's like it's not doesn't seem like the best time to make that announcement. He possibly wants to distance himself from Ubisoft at the moment, and I can't blame him for that at all.
It might be
But
an
at the same
excellent time. We don't know what's about to break in the
Orders
news.
to you, I am out of here.
Yeah, but
I am going. You can take your questionable employment practices and shove them up your bottom. Apologies to any of our French listeners.
just
I don't
remind me of
apologise.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But anyway, yeah, like
And your father smells of elderberries.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
it's a
as I
shame.
said, really weird time to kind of make that announcement when you're literally in the middle of making two games which have like come under criticism for being like delayed for a
Delayed,
extended period
restarted,
of time.
all kind of things. Yeah.
He might just
Yeah.
have had enough of it.
But it is saying that he's had enough of it. But maybe don't say that until you've finished the games that you've already talked about the fact that you're making for too long without actually making them.
Yeah, but Beyond Good and Evil 2, I mean, I don't know about Wild, because that seems to have dropped off the face of the earth, even though he insists it's still going. Beyond Good and Evil 2, that we've had trailers, leaked gameplays, behind-door gameplays, we've had cancellations, we've had bringing backs, we've had concept art again. Like, it's a never-ending cycle. It feels like a decade of this flipping game being hyped up, and we haven't seen anything for the last 2 years, I swear.
No,
So
not a monkey, not a sausage.
it's, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets cancelled again and then restarted by someone else. So he's, you know, I don't blame him if he has had enough. He's not said he's had enough. He's, you know,
Can
he's,
you delay the opening of a wildlife sanctuary? Is that doable?
I'm thinking,
Does that happen?
hold on.
I not.
Because maybe you should delay that.
I mean, if the animals don't turn up
Yeah,
for
exactly.
your
Yeah,
sanctuary, then you might have some trouble.
exactly. If,
Have a
if
think.
the animals unionise and and refuse to open, they could.
If the animals complain about unfair business practices behind the
Indeed.
scenes, then, you know.
Could well be.
Yeah, good luck, Michel Ancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Au revoir.
But
Au revoir.
finish your games before you retire to the farm, please.
Or
No,
just go be
he's-
happy with your rest of your life.
Yeah, go be happy. Enjoy
I'm
doing
all
you.
for that, but maybe
Being
just
you, not
maybe
doing you. That
finish
sounds
the
like you're
things
just going to go into a shed and wank yourself
you
into
ride off into
oblivion.
the
But you know
sunset.
what I mean?
Good.
Yeah, shall we
Okay.
move on?
Tokyo Game Show 2020 has been happening before we started recording this here show.
Yes.
Tim tried to
didn't-
learn Japanese. It didn't
Yeah,
go well.
I got stuck at work. Dan got stuck at work.
Yep.
Couldn't really watch this, but we've had Eagle-Eyed Tim on the case, which means Tim's going to lead a news segment, which means
Settle in.
it's
This is gonna go
basically
well.
breaking news.
Nice.
Basically news
With Tim Hips.
with Tim for Hips. Go on, Tim.
Go on,
So
Tim.
yeah, well, this wasn't the easiest assignment, I have to say.
You
Like,
said it yourself, you
volunteered.
bell end.
I know, but not quite knowing that Square Enix had a 5-hour long. Well, I think.
Oh, you should have felt right at home, mate.
4-hour long thing for an hour slot. They had a 4-hour presentation with like music things going on and other stuff.
Coleman, 1 sec, Tim.
Yeah.
What does
All in
that remind you
Japanese.
of? If we say, Tim, we've got to be done in an hour. How many hours of conversation does Tim try and force into that hour?
But I don't do that conversation in Japanese, Dan, which does make it
Right.
slightly more difficult.
You should
to,
try.
You should.
like
It'd be
get information
entertaining.
out of things. So,
Arigato.
yeah, like so. And also, this was literally like had just happened as we were sort of wrapping up the show.
Arigabashi.
So there's no one else's notes I could steal from or anything else that I could look at to kind of sort of give me more information, basically.
Fun, innit?
But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Tokyo Game Show 2020 is happening.
Never
this
heard of it.
weekend. And yeah, has obviously, with everything that's going on, gone all digital. So they're doing some streaming stuff, and they've got like a whole streaming schedule. You can find it online of stuff they've got going up for the various days across the weekend. You're too late to see the stuff that we've already seen today on the Thursday, obviously. But by the time you're hearing this, you might be able to see the stuff
Hang
on
on,
Friday,
hang
Saturday,
on.
and
You're
Sunday.
too late to see stuff that's happened in the past.
Yes.
Right, okay, glad
But
we
it
cleared
is
that up.
available to view online if you want as well, although you might want to wait for other people to analyze it and translate it, because that might help. But yeah, like Microsoft, there was a little kind of introduction thing that they were doing, I think pre-show and then like in between as well, but I'm not sure exactly when that came out, and they seem to be kind of putting up separate videos for all the different publishers and stuff, people that were hosting different streams. And yeah, some of that involved gameplay, but most of it was just kind of pre-recorded game announcements with trailers and stuff like that, and people talking over it, basically.
Love it.
Love it.
So Microsoft Japan kicked things off as the first kind of sort of, it wasn't quite a press conference type thing, but had that type of feel.
It was an advert.
But yeah, like this is one that I kind
Advertorial.
of watched while I was working, so I discerned some information from it, but there really wasn't much. And they announced beforehand that there wasn't going to be any next-gen news or discussion of the recent acquisition of Bethesda or anything like that. So they announced that none of that was going to be talked about. It did seem to just show off kind of updates for Microsoft Flight Simulator and talk about that for a while. And then there was a long bit where they were talking to the Minecraft community in Japan and seeing like some of their creations and stuff. But other
Any
than that, it was
any
lots of,
Game Pass adverts they threw in there?
not really, but
No.
I'm sure they probably mentioned it, but not in English.
Game Pass.
Game Pass.
No, Coleman. No.
But there were lots of like talking heads with like Japanese creators, the creator of Puyo Puyo I noticed, and like, a few other like random
Max
people
Headroom,
that
he
they
was there,
had.
talking head. Loves
Just
it.
generally talking about Microsoft and Xbox Series X and stuff, basically.
Okay.
I have a question.
Talking through that. Yep.
How did they pronounce Xbox Series X?
Literally just like that, but with a slight Japanese accent.
I would, like
Xbox
Quite
you,
racist if I put
I
it
would
on.
like you to do that for us now, Timothy.
Series X.
You're our man on the ground. You are our roving reporter.
I'm not your racist
Chifu Masteru.
puppet boy. Anyway, right, so yes.
Hello.
We then went on to Square Enix.
Xbox Series
Managed to get
X.
a bit more information from. They had a thing that looked quite cute, even though I didn't understand most of it. But for Denshi to Go, which is a kind of train sim type thing.
Oh, sign me up. Love that.
Well, no, we'll have to get our roving reporter in Scotland on this one. John Brady is a definite train
They
sim.
meant Billy Connolly.
I kind of tagged him in something when I was
Billy
talking about
Connolly?
a PSVR game, and said, "Oh, Brady, when are you getting a PSVR headset?" Then and he said, "I've already got one." I was like, "I didn't know that." Anyway, we'll have to speak to Brady at some point about train games. This might
Great
be another one
story.
we jumped
Love
on.
that story.
But they
It's
seem
great.
to have someone doing a bit of a gameplay demo of this, and they had, I think, believe that the woman was dressed as one of the kind of train guards. And they seem to be having a bit of fun with that and kind of messing around.
I'm
with that.
sure they were dirty.
They
buggers.
showed a bit of gameplay, but then it went into kind of more like different trailers. and announcement stuff. I'm not sure how many of these dates are A, have been previously announced, and B, might be Japan only. So I recorded dates for the things that had dates, but yeah, not just comes with that caveat because I'm not sure how relevant they are to us. But yeah, there was Final Fantasy IX. It looked like the retro version kind of just being re-released. It's not a remake or anything by the looks of things. But that goes on sale on the 23rd of the 9th. So that'll be on sale by the time you hear this, basically. And yeah, then they showed off a bit more of Balan Wonderland.
Oh, that's Yuji Naka's new game.
Yeah, and it looks
Huge
like Mario
knackers.
minus Mario in the Garfield minus Garfield kind of.
Well,
Huge
he's the former lead of Sonic Team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this game looks very Mario-esque. It's got like a slight, obviously a difference to the kind of main characters who look a bit more elongated and kind of thinner limbed. But generally, like gameplay-wise, it looks like a Mario game without Mario, basically.
Okay.
Like, in a complementary kind of manner. You know, it's a puzzle platforming type thing where you get different costumes to help you go through the different things, and those costumes give you different powers.
I think that one's my PS5 purchase because that's one that me and my girlfriend are both want to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks nice for what it is. And yeah, possibly not my thing, but I'm sure there will be other people that are quite pleased by it. There was a thing called Outriders, which I think we've seen some of before, but they didn't show any gameplay, and it was just a kind of pre-rendered trailer. But that's out this winter for PC and both generations of consoles. Looked okay. There was an Octopath Traveler something, but the something was in Japanese.
Brilliant.
Not translated at any point, so I don't know what the something is. But there's an Octopath Traveler something coming out October the 28th of October. But again, I'm not sure if that was like an expansion or a remake or something, or something else. But
or a
something
demake
related to Octopath Traveler is coming out, so I imagine it's not a full new game if it's coming out that soon, but don't know.
Might be. Just sneaking it in without anyone realising.
But I was thinking maybe that's coming to consoles or something, but it didn't seem to talk about platforms or something.
I think the first one debuted on the Switch, didn't it?
Yeah, it was on Switch
first
and
was
PC,
on the
I
Switch,
think,
then it came to
wasn't it?
PC?
then it came to everything else.
Did it come to everything else already?
Or it's coming to everything else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. They also showed off some arcade and mobile games that I don't think we have much or any interest in.
Then let's not talk about them.
They talked about
Move on,
Japanese.
Timothy.
There was a lot of stuff about Square Enix music throughout the presentation.
Love it.
Like they had that
Brilliant.
logo thing going on, but it seemed to be just like a quiz of, do you recognise this piece of music? Kind of idea. And yeah, often I did not. There was a Dragon
It's the
Quest
Chocobo theme.
Rivals Ace mobile game that we don't really care about. A game I can't remember, like they didn't have the translation of the name, and I can't remember how long the name is, but it's 7 days something.
7 days
There's a
ellipses.
long name, starts with 7 days, but they're doing an anime of that basically. So again, we probably don't care
Can't
about
wait.
that very much. And then they ended with the Final Fantasy 16 trailer, which seemed to be the exact same trailer we'd already seen, just in Japanese. So
Banging.
slightly less useful for me. But yeah, like for what they were, they seemed okay. They also seemed to have a separate stream related to Nier. And that announced the fact that Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 is coming to
Rolls off the
Steam,
tongue.
PS4, Xbox One on April the 23rd next year.
So this
hang on, has anyone told them new consoles coming out?
Yeah, and it's a bit late for a remake in this generation.
If I remember correctly, is this the one that's basically the first Nier game, but it's redone for modern consoles, but now those consoles aren't so modern?
From what I could work out of what I saw other people saying at the time about this, I believe it is the first game remade in the second game's engine.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think.
Which means don't buy it on PC day one, because it will poo the bed.
Die.
Yeah. They're working
Probably
on a
not.
mobile game for Nier as well, which I was just interested in, but I've not heard anything since. And that was all in Japanese as well, so it was hard to
Didn't see anything
decipher
about that,
what-
but I may have missed some of the mobile announcement stuff because I kind of skipped over that for time's sake.
We shall forgive you.
It was mostly in Japanese. Yeah. And then there was a little thing from a company called Lightning Games. I haven't heard of them before. They seem to be a Japanese kind of indie publisher. So the 3 games, I think, by different studios, but not necessarily by Lightning Games, but from other studios that they're kind of publishing. All of them kind of had a theme between them. They've generally got some 2D platformer kind of generic things across them, but all of them doing that slightly differently. Yeah, very much in keeping with a lot of the kind of styles of like trends of the 2D action platformer in a, you know, retro or pixelated style type thing. There was a bit of that going on. But the first one that of the 3 was a game called Hardcore Mecca. Probably my favourite looking of the 3, I think, is by Rocket Punch. Kind of cute mini anime mech battles. But not kind of, well, not battles, kind of a action platforming, kind of 2D action platforming with shooting in the 2D action platforming, but then separate sections of like scrolling 2D shooting as well. So you take control of a big ship or your mech's flying a bit and stuff like that. But there was also levels where the pilot could get out of the mech and you'd be like sneaking into the enemy base at the bottom of the screen and there'd be stuff going on at the top and stuff like that. And yeah, like a cute kind of, is it Shiba that the kind of like big head Shibi?
Shibi,
kind of,
something like that.
Shibi. Yeah, the kind of big head mechs and big head people kind of thing. But yeah, like kind of a nice cartoony art style, almost a cell shaded kind of nature to it. But yeah, it's very cartoony, and yeah, like that looked quite good. And I believe it's coming to Switch. They didn't mention other platforms, but they did say that there was a 4-player multiplayer version, or they did say something along the lines of, thanks to the Switch, you can play 4-player multiplayer battles wherever you want. So I wasn't sure, they only mentioned the Switch version, so I wasn't sure if there was that available in just the Switch version, or he was just highlighting the fact that the Switch can do that. But yeah, like it seemed to be something where you could kind of race through those levels together and stuff like that. I will say as well, Lightning Games being the little indie publisher thing, they actually had English subtitles on everything and spoken English. So it made it actually easier to kind of pass what was going on and kind of present that information. Hence the fact that I had a bit more information on that game. I did, however, run slightly short on time. But yeah, there was another game called Hack. It was an action, and that's Hack, Haak. It's an action adventure platformer, 2D hand-drawn animation in a post-apocalyptic setting. You're kind of exploring ruins. You've got a kind of flowing cape, almost ninja look, like cyber ninja type look to you kind of thing. And the developers described it as a kind of more linear and a mild Metroidvania, basically.
A Mildovania.
So, yeah, like they did mention there's a bit of backtracking, but it seemed like, and like skills that would unlock other areas as they kind of mentioned it.
Mildtroidvania?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that, because if it's linear, then there isn't really backtracking, in my opinion. I don't know.
There is. Anyway. You can go backwards on a straight line. That's linear.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure how that works out. But they said it was kind of, like there wasn't, it was a mild Metroidvania because you weren't entirely doing everything within a Metroidvania, even though they then went on to describe the things that I would describe as a Metroidvania.
I have a question.
Hack, by day, he's a mild-mannered Metroidvania.
Yeah, exactly. What would a mild Metroidvania taste like compared to a full-on, full-bodied Metroidvania?
Lemon and herbs, normally.
Bit mild.
Yeah. Lemon, some
lemon
herbs.
For the mild one?
Yeah, lemon and herb, like Nando's.
Lemon and herb. That's
Oh.
Nando's lowest on the scale. Then you get chili and lime, or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one.
Tell us more about the Nando's sauces, Tim.
I think we have a new rating scale that has sponsorship opportunities.
Really freaking hot.
Segment.
No, we mean
Nando's
it.
sauces with Tim Hicks.
Well, if I had to rate the menus in this game,
Basically, they're sauces.
I think it would be lemon and herb.
And the last one, so we can actually get through the three of these games. The last one was a game called Anno Mutationem. Like, they pronounced it a bit differently in the Japanese kind of style, but I'm not sure how you actually are supposed to pronounce that
I
word.
can get this one.
Definitely made up.
Anno
Mutationem.
Mutunum.
Mutation.
Yeah, sure, that one.
Jesus, it's getting worse
Kind of
the
rushed
harder
it.
you try to say it in an accent. I'm not going to lie.
I'm trying
so
to
let's
say
not.
it in an accent. I'm trying to
You
read
are,
it.
Blake.
Just trying to pronounce it. But yeah, it's kind of noir, cyber-esque kind of feel to it in a... Not Farscape. I always get muddled up. What's the old school, like, SNES
Another World.
platformer?
Another World.
Another one.
I was thinking...
That's
of the
not a
other
SNES
one in that,
platformer.
though.
That is an Amiga platform. Thank you very much.
It's also on
Well,
the SNES.
okay. It was on the SNES.
It's technically a puzzle
But
game.
yeah. But it kind of reminded me of that.
That's a good point.
And it's got a kind of 2D action platformer gameplay, but then with 3D exploration areas for you to go around and explore, basically.
It's got a nice art style, and I don't think I'd play it.
No,
Yeah.
me neither.
I like the look of the art. I'm not sure I care too much about the game, but both this... I think Hack a bit more, but both of them look like they could, be popular with the crowd of people that are into a lot of similar games at the moment, like, is it Shallow Knight? And, like, there's a few other ones in that sort of...
I love Shallow
2D,
Knight.
Yeah.
That's a game for gamers.
There's a few games
it's a
in that,
gamer's
of
game,
that
that is,
sort of
Coleman.
ilk and that sort of game, the kind of 2D action platformer with a retro style to it, those things. Hack and
New Age fun with a
whatever
vintage
it is.
feel, my favourite.
Fall into those kind of categories, I think, and might please people that like those sorts of games as well, basically. So, but yeah, as I said, I was a bit more into the hardcore mecha thing, but then, ran out of a bit of time in getting some information on that. But hey. But yeah, that is what happened at the Tokyo Game Show today. So there you go.
Wow.
There's more going on for the weekend, so we might have some more to report about next week.
That was basically news.
Basically, yours.
I'm not playing it again.
No, don't.
No.
Shall we
outro
actually
required.
talk about something else and something neither of us went to, couldn't understand? And stuff we actually
I
did.
don't know. I went to Essex once and I couldn't understand anyone there. Hey.
Right.
Can I talk
Shall we
about
let-
Mario?
Yeah,
Yes.
you talk about Mario.
Excellent.
So I almost very nearly picked this up. Should I? Question
didn't.
mark.
It depends on your, what you want, really. So this is a collection of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super
Loving
Mario
it.
Galaxy.
Great work.
With some improvements made to visual fidelity to work on the Switch, some improvements made to controls, depending on your point of view of improvements. And
Generally better than they were. That's what
all
my point of view
available
of
on
a
the
good
handheld.
improvement is.
all available on handheld for £50, I believe it is, $49.99 maybe.
Okay.
Less if you have your points saved up like I did. That's the only reason I bought it. So I'll start off with Mario 64. It looks lovely. If you port Mario 64 over, unless you use some form of emulation, to put the nice HD gloss on it and get it running in widescreen and stuff. What you have here is literally the 64 version running in HD. It looks very nice. It looks like you'd remember the game. I feel
Right. So, like,
Not
if
sure it looks
the
nice.
the rose-tinted spectacle wearing look back through time of how you thought it looked rather than actually how it looked.
However, the controls are arse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't
garbage.
I don't think the gameplay list will have aged well. It was revolutionary for its time.
It was.
But now, a bit like the way that GoldenEye on the N64 was, now is utter arse.
Yeah.
Living in a post-Odyssey world, I don't think any of these games necessarily. end up that way.
Yeah, and it's especially bad for Mario 64 because I think some of the team from 64 worked on Odyssey, and then they recreated the castle as a hidden level within Odyssey. So seeing that and then coming back to this. And they even tried to recreate the Mario model as a costume, but it had too many polygons on it if it wasn't accurate. So there you go. The game, it's fine. It looks nice. It's the controls. I'm starting to get used to them now. The problem I had, I had this
in
problem
the
when
Stockholm syndrome kind of sense.
Well, no, not really. I mean, I got the 64 late in the cycle, probably about 3 years into the console cycle. I was a PlayStation kid, and then when I got my console, a friend lent me Super Mario 64, and I think I only did like 3 levels because I thought I just hated the controls on it. I thought it was rubbish.
Yep.
And then
Rubbish.
Playing this, so what they've done, rather than modding the controls to be a twin stick kind of thing, they've put because there was only one stick on the 64, so they've put that one stick on your left stick, and then they've mapped the C buttons for the views onto your right stick, and I just don't feel that it works particularly well. And consequence
and
of
are
that,
they still like digital inputs for the camera rather than analog? So they haven't bothered to try and analogify them.
No, it's that thing where it only turns so far, and you've got to tap it each time to do it. It's literally the C stick controls, but put on a stick instead. C buttons and put onto the right stick, and it. To begin with, I was having the problem I had when I first played this game many years ago. You kind of have to use your shadows to judge where you're landing on platforms because you can't trust where you're going because the view is so terrible some of the times and it's too slow to react. So I was struggling with that. After playing a few days of it, starting to get the hang of it now, and dare I say I'm actually getting better. So it's... sodding penguin race. Now, I'm doing much better at the game. So that is Super Mario Bros. 64. It's fine. It's serviceable. If you wanted to go through the emulation route, then there are much better fan mods to the game and widescreens and control fixes and stuff that are available out there.
HD texture packs.
That shouldn't be the case, though.
It's just cool that you've got Mario 64 on the Switch. It's cool to have these collection of games available in one set on the Switch.
Or Mario
Switch-64. The other
I'll try that again. Mario Switch-64. Thank you, Coleman.
You're welcome.
Oh, the bants.
Super Mario Sunshine. So this is the GameCube's Super Mario main platform game. This is the one that people were kind of groaning about when they did the first announcement, because this seems to be many people's hated Mario game.
Most hated Mario game, I'd say.
I actually didn't mind this one at the time. I played a fair bit of it. I never completed it, so I was glad to get a hold of this. The GameCube version of the game had a inverted control as default, and I don't think you could change it. Now, what they've done is they've changed that into a more regular control settings. Left is left, right is right, up is up, down is down. With no option to reverse it back into the original controls.
Yeah.
God.
A lot of people are happy with the control changes. A few people are annoyed with the control changes and the inability to switch it back up.
Yeah, why not just give you the option to do one or the other?
I don't know. The other improvement they've made to this is that they've actually knocked this one up into a widescreen game. It looks lovely in widescreen. You get more depth of field and you see more things around you. It's much more helpful for playing the game. I am really enjoying this. The only problem I have with it's got like a really long opening, and the way they've done the cutscenes in this game and in Mario Galaxy as well is they're not in engine. They're rendered cutscenes, and then when you stretch those out into HD, it kind of looks like someone smeared Vaseline all over a stretched out JPEG or something. It looks very, very odd. But
God, that takes me back to a deep dark time of my teenage years.
plus the worst thing about Mario Sunshine is the voice acting in that game. They kind of try to add like an RPG element to it and fetch quests and things, and Princess Peach sounds horrible in this game. Yeah. And then there's the whole thing about Bowser Jr. that comes later. But yeah, the game's enjoyable. I really, really like it. It's, again, all these all these Mario games being on a handheld is what I really, really like. I barely played Mario Odyssey on... I just don't think I've played it on a TV. I've played everything on the handheld because that's my preferred way to play the Switch. It's just a really impressive handheld for me. But yeah, Mario Sunshine, not as bad as everyone says it is. And plays a lot better than Mario 64 on the Switch.
Maybe that's why they just put Mario 64 in there. So look how good all the other ones are compared to this. We understand the 3Ds.
Super Mario Galaxy. This is the one that everyone's been looking forward to.
So good, that game.
I have never played. Despite owning this game, it kind of just sat there. I started it up, went, not in the mood, and just never really went. Plus, I went HD TV, and the Wii just looked rubbish on a HD TV.
HD snobbery.
Yeah, well, no, it was not even snobbery. It's just like your games looked rubbish if you played them on a HD TV with a Wii U, and this was one of those problems. So now playing it on the Switch, it's all ported over. It looks lovely. Again, the videos are a bit of an issue, but then it doesn't take away from enjoyment of actually playing the game. Playing the game itself, oh my God, I wish I played this before. This is so good. I see what people... all the hype is real over the years that people have given Super Mario Galaxy. I understand the love for it. After playing through Mario Odyssey as well, it's good to have like something of that caliber to go back to, and this is it. The big changes in this one, other than being ported to HD, is the control system. So they have kept in the motion controls with Joy-Cons instead of the Wiimote. Because I didn't play it back in the day, I wasn't too sure how that has changed necessarily, but I've heard considering it's not a Bluetooth kind of thing to the screen, and it's done through sensor instead, that all emulates very, very well. I've heard complaints of a couple of people where they said it's crashed, but my one, it's considering my box isn't even in front of the TV, it's like way off to the side. It seems to have done the motion tracking very well to where I am, so that all works really well. Alternatively, if you use a Pro controller, one of Mario's moves is a spin, which you have to kind of shake the Wiimote for, or the Joy-Con. So they've now added that if you hit the Y button, he'll automatically do it, which means you don't have to keep shaking the controller around, which also means you can spam that move, which is incredibly OP. So it might make the game a bit easier for many, but a welcome change. And also, and the thing I don't like is you've got to use the controller to kind of pick up star bits as you're going through, and I never like the look of that. That is replicated with the Joy-Cons. If you're using the Pro controller, you've got to physically move the Pro controller back and forth and up and down and stuff. If you're playing on handheld and you're doing a touchscreen, you can hit the touchscreen to pick up your star bits. I've not tried that yet, because it's the one I haven't played on the go, but that seems like it would be a better thing for me, although my touchscreen is a bit iffy, so I'm not 100% on that yet. But gorgeous looking game. Gorgeous looking game.
Gorgeous.
It was a Wii game. I am very happy with these. Mainly, I mean, if I could have bought these individually, I would have just gone for Sunshine and Galaxy and left 64, because I've had enough of 64. I don't need more of it.
See, that's my problem. I don't want Sunshine or this, but I'm semi-interested in Galaxy, but it's not worth 50 quid to me.
No, that's it. And if it was a lot of people complain that the bundle doesn't contain Super Mario Galaxy 2. If it was a bundle with those two games, I could see it warranted £50 to pick up just those two games. But as it stands, you've got to really want either one or two of these games to get the bundle. But if you do want all of those games and you're fine with the arse controls of Mario 64 or the ho-hum kind of voice acting of Sunshine or anything like that, then yeah, go fill your boots. 50 quid, it's not the 60 quid that they usually charge on the Switch store, and I'm having a blast with it.
Lovely.
Yeah, Mario Galaxy. Why didn't anyone tell me?
It's a great game.
Everyone did.
They did. There's so many people that told me.
I'm fairly sure people would have told you that repeatedly. It's a great game, corking game.
Oh, yes.
Oh, gosh. It makes me very excited in my excited places, such as the quality of that game. Excellent. Right, who's talking next? Do you want to talk again, Coleman?
I've also been playing The Last Campfire, which I've been threatening to talk about for a good 3 weeks now, I think, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, let's get that one done.
This is Hello Games' latest title. It is very, very different to what you've seen before. It's basically a sort of semi-puzzle platformer game with a heavier emphasis on the puzzle than the platform. There is you play a little character called an Ember, and these embers kind of go off. They sail down a river and they go off to this promised land. And this little ember gets left behind and ends up in a sort of limbo area where you find out that there are many embers that have been lost along the way. And it doesn't help that he's a very cute little character, so you feel very sad for him because he does do a lot of sort of bow his head, be sad.
Do you know if someone insults him? Do you know what that's called? He gets dismembered, doesn't he?
Oh no!
Yeah, I know. Never mind. It's a pretty harmless joke.
Anyway,
dad jokes.
Embers. So you're on a mission to kind of work your way through and save other embers that have been lost along the way. The way you do this is you run around, you solve little puzzles, you push buttons, you pick up object A and rub it on object B to achieve goal C. You know, that kind of thing.
That old classic. Love it.
Yeah, a bit like point and click style.
Is that how your parents describe the birds and the bees to you?
No. Or a process I like to call wubba, lubber, and dub is how I would.
Something to do with a stork and a gooseberry bush. Anyway, you'll find the odd ember sort of sat around with all the colour drained out of him, and you'll go up and sort of pat them on the look and there, and then you'll end up in this little puzzle world, and then you've got to solve the puzzle, and then you'll come back and they'll be fine. That's pretty much the game. It looks gorgeous. It plays very well. And as well, the story is narrated all the way through by, I think it's a Scandinavian woman. And it really works for some reason, and I don't understand why. But yeah, I've really fallen for this game. I'm playing it on PC at the moment just for the for capture purposes mainly. But I might double dip and get it on the Switch because with the puzzle elements, it does seem a very Switch-worthy game. Our friend Rick who does his video on the Game Cupboard, he did a review for it on YouTube, so I urge you to go check that out. It's a really good review, and he also loved it as much as I did. And that was The Last Campfire. I keep forgetting we have to say the game.
Not the first campfire. Not the campfire betwixt the first and the last. The last. The ultimate campfire, if you will.
I recommend it.
No Man's Sky, also by Hello Games, is a game that's been out for quite some time now, as we all know. So why the devil am I talking about it again? It's because it's had yet another big stonking update. That's why. Sean Murray, creator of No Man's Sky and head of Hello Games, and purveyor of fine facial topiary,
it's my role model.
kept tweeting orange emojis for quite a bit of last week, and that was his way of letting you know that a new version of No Man's Sky Origins, see what he did there, was
Didn't we made
incoming.
that joke ages ago with Batman Origins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So
every game that mentions the word oranges, we make that
Rayman
joke.
Origins.
Recycle that joke.
Yeah.
Every game that has the word oranges.
It's all good. So it's a bit of a redo. It's adding a bunch of my favourite kind of update. That's right, the quality of life update.
Tornadoes.
Well, they've actually made things a lot more accessible and understandable in the game, which
was
great.
Needed still, but yeah.
So what?
Which was kind of needed still.
It was kind of. I mean, and it's a lot better. Is it perfect? Maybe not. But
I just relearned it all, and now they've updated it again.
No, this is what happens with No Man's Sky. I go, I'll get into that for a bit. Then I kind of put it down and then pick it up again whenever there's a new update and get very, very confused. The things that you are going to notice most of all, if you are, I think this
spaceships.
Is probably, there are still spaceships, yes. There are more planets now.
65 Days of Static doing the soundtrack.
They're still doing the soundtrack.
More space or the same amount of space?
More why not more space?
Whoa.
Good.
There are, however, definitely more planets. So they've added new planets with more interesting geographic features like mountain ranges, massive buildings from old civilizations that you can go in and explore. Updated all of the textures on all of the planets, be they old or new. The game looks fantastic. It really, really does. And they've added a bit more graphical special sauce in for the PC as well. There's
Smeared
also
it all over.
They look like a big old tub of Vaseline
Yeah.
and a big chamois leather is what they've done.
Good Vaseline for
going.
making it shiny, not bad Vaseline for making your videos muddy.
Blurry.
No, the appropriate amount of Vaseline, which
Yes,
I think
right.
we can all agree is important.
Yes.
Good.
We have an episode title then.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so the other things they've added are there are much more interactive NPCs around on all the planets. They've actually removed some of the obstacles to jetting around the galaxy using your portals that previously before were a bit pain in the bum. So it's a much welcome update. It has made it super exciting, super nice, a great deal more of a pleasure to play, and kind of still remains my go-to chill-out game at the moment. It's really having a lot of fun with No Man's Sky, and the changes the No Man's Sky Origins update has brought really are quite welcome. So good stuff, Hello Games. If you haven't picked this up already, you can get it on Game Pass via the Xbox, and that's Game Pass on both PC and on consoles.
But play it on PlayStation, because then you can play it in VR.
Or get it on PC and play it on VR.
I was going to say as well, can't you cross-play between all platforms now? I think we discussed this before.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes. Okay.
You need to play this.
So no matter where you play, you're going to find someone to play with.
So Tim will be in VR and me and Dan will be shooting him out the sky.
Yep. So yeah, but no, great. Love it. No Man's Sky Origins, it's free. Well, you have to buy No Man's Sky, but the update is free. I don't know how much longer. I'm not sure how much longer Hello Games can continue sinking money and resources into what is increasingly becoming a pet project.
Well, they'll just keep making lovely little boutique games.
Good in the end.
Yeah, until they make another game. Aren't they already making another game that they said?
They just made another game. I just spoke about it.
What are you listening to what Coleman said?
I know, but they've
Tim.
already announced that they're making another game.
Another game.
Another game. It's almost like they want to make a business out of this kind of malarkey.
3.
Anyway,
just pointing out, it's not like they're resting on their laurels just because they're just making stuff for No Man's Sky. It sounds interesting. Have you seen a tornado yet, by the way? Or a firestorm?
Yes, there's. Oh, and that's the other thing. There's more extreme weather effects.
Yeah.
Storms look. I haven't seen a storm, but apparently, proper storms look like storms.
Yeah.
Clouds are more cloudy. They've replaced all of the creatures that you would have found on planets. So all the old ones are gone and replaced with much slightly better looking ones. It still looks a bit like a slightly shit version of Jurassic Park, but never mind. That still remains one of my favourite memes of all time.
Yeah.
And there are sandworms because hell,
that's what I was waiting for.
Massive sandworm,
massive
like
sandworms.
Beetlejuice or Dune.
Yeah, it's almost like they went. I sort of saw the new Dune trailer. Went, oh, we could do that, couldn't we?
Dune.
Is it Dune or June? June or June?
June.
I'm stealing this off the Weekly Planet, sorry.
July.
Dune.
So how much that update?
That update costs no pounds and no pence. If you're already an owner of... Oh, I know, by Grabthar's Hammer.
Already a savings if you're not paying anything.
Hammer. So, obviously you need to own No Man's Sky, but it's on Game Pass, so go fill your boots, have the fun.
Are they still like stupidly dirt cheap for PlayStation 4 versions down at like CEX?
Yeah, fairly sure.
Because I remember like the week it came out, they went down to about $5.
Should have picked one of those up.
Well, I didn't because I bought it. I bought 2 copies, in fact.
You donut.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Tim, you all right saving yours for next week?
I don't even need to. I could literally do it in a minute.
Go on,
Could
then.
you though?
Oh wait, hold
Challenge,
on.
But hey, doing a countdown.
Yeah.
Ready? Go.
Okay, Hotshot Racing is on Xbox One. It's on Game Pass, so you can try it for free. It's an arcade racer, cel shaded, reminds me a bit of Outrun and a bit of Virtua Racer. You've got different racers that have got 4 different types of cars. They've all got different types of cars depending on who you're racing with. It's quite good fun, easy to play. It's got a boosting system that you get for drift. You build up by drifting around corners. It's good fun. Go try it out.
Tim has reviewed the game.
And in 30 seconds. I think we just need to, whenever Tim speaks, we just turn that on now, I think.
I like it, yeah. From now on, Tim timer.
Yeah. My minute reviews.
And then, like, new listeners to the
check.
podcast will go, oh, that guy, he doesn't really get to talk much. It's not very fair on him.
No, to be fair, I don't mind doing that for anything that's on
listeners.
Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or anything I'm talking about. That's fine.
Is
You can do that.
Hotshot Racing the new one with all the cell shady goodness?
Yeah.
Right, I'm picking that up because I keep looking at
it's
that.
It's worth playing. It's very easy to pick up and play. The one thing I'll say is that, yeah, like it's got that arcadey feel where if you're at the front, you feel like the people behind are always sticking to you a bit. That's kind of because there's a drafting thing going on as well. But
I heard it's got similar vibes to Daytona or Ridge Racer.
Daytona.
I said Virtua
waiting
Racing.
for
I
that.
kind of more meant Daytona, but yeah,
Daytona.
Go away.
reminds me of Daytona and Outrun.
Daytona.
But yeah, it was good fun. Worth playing.
Leytonstone, let's go away. Anyway,
Should we do community feedback?
let's do that.
Okay, so these fine folks have got in contact with us on the Discord. If you want to get in contact
like
with
a
us, you
Discord.
also can do Big Red Barrel on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. But also we've got, as I said, Discord, which is available on BigRedBarrel.com. There is a link there. But also, while you're on BigRedBarrel.com, you can leave us a comment on there as well. 5 lovely ways you can get in contact with this here show. Or 6. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, why
5.
not?
I was right the first time.
5.
Yeah, so Skydark, as he tends to do, he has written, I have a question. Has a game storyline ever made you cry? I'll go first. I was bloody close with Last of Us Part 2. There was some moments that kind of really did me in, I think. But the closest is The Walking Dead Season 1, which I don't think it was like the second to final episode, where there's a moment that happens. I didn't cry, but there was a moment that happened in that game that literally made me throw the controller down and jump up at the screen and go, nah! And I've never reacted to a game like that before. So there you go.
Yeah, I can remember like having a real hard time with decisions, and
Tetris.
especially the first Mass Effect. Like the decision between who you were killing and stuff like that was often like really like a hard decision. But I don't remember ever being emotionally driven to cry from a video game, which is weird because I'll
cry all
cry
the
at the
time?
drop of a hat for like TV stuff, but not video games so much.
What about you, Dan?
Just kind of putting that in there because I'm not trying to be bravado with that. It's just I don't remember a video game
toxic
eliciting
masculinity,
that
Tim.
response from me before. But hey, did I cry in Heavy Rain? Don't remember doing so. No.
I cried for very different reasons because of Heavy Rain storyline.
I've cried in laughter in a game.
Was it the
that's
French
for
actors
sure.
being American?
I'm
true, I was
Jonathan
thinking more,
McGon to
but-
play the real life Pokemon.
Do you love
My
your
name?
son enough to see less of your thumb?
Other moments that made me cry and go, why God, why, is the reveal of Raiden in Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2. That made me
That's
cry.
a different sort of crying, though, Dan.
Yeah.
Just say no. You two can be big hard gits, and I'll be the sap.
It's not that it made me cry, but it really made me feel like I was saying goodbye to an old friend before the nonsense of the final. By the way, Metal Gear Solid 4 spoilers ahead. The bit before you wake up and you actually turns out that Snake survived. in the graveyard. The bit where you're slowly plodding through kind of the nuclear reactor and kind of bit, the
Star Trek bit.
Yeah, is literally dying in front of your eyes. I thought it was a very good bit of a very, very well done scene. However, it completely shot itself in the foot by then going, diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, here he is in the graveyard. Ta-da, he's all right, and he's still got a tash. I thought that was a nicely done bit of narrative that I thought was very impactful.
One from Ed, who's filled in for Dan for the last 2 weeks.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. He said, through a freak accident, you log in one day to discover you now have a YouTube account with 3 million subscribers. However, the only way to keep it is to make a 90-minute plus hot take video essay. What is your hot take and why? Mine would be why Telltale's The Talking Dead Season 2 shat all over the legacy of Season 1. That, or why The Last of Us was an awful game I hated, or why I've never enjoyed a single Uncharted game except for maybe Lost Legacy. Well done, Ed.
Yeah.
Video essay. Why Buster Groove is the greatest game of all time and needs its resurgence.
Mine would be, it's not necessarily video game related, but it's in the same kind of nerdy culture. Why the movie ending for Watchmen actually makes more sense than the comic book ending.
Ooh. Spicy.
That is. I'm telling on you.
It's all right. Tell all you want, mate.
Alan Moore.
It's all right.
Kick your door down.
Alan Moore doesn't have a television. It's fine. He just lives in his teepee in Northamptonshire.
Yeah, he just sits in front of a campfire waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Been like that for the past 37 years.
I think someone's remaking one of my comics into a film.
What? Was you made it's not known in 1987? Anyway,
Tim, what's your hot take 90-minute? That's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you've heard me. I have a hot take on whatever opinion I'm probably voicing.
I
talking about your day, really.
I call it
whatever's
tepid.
me off that day. Yeah, yeah. Take your pick. I could have a hot take on whatever.
Tim's tepid take.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think that's everything.
Not as much stuff annoys me as much as it used to, I don't think.
Oh no, so I've got older stuff annoys me much more than it used to.
Nah. I just end up not caring, I guess. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to be really annoyed about in this day and age.
Possibly. While double checking if I had any other messages for community feedback, I also reminded myself from my own tweet that I forgot to talk about a game in the Tokyo Game Show thing. So just one thing that I hadn't seen anything about before, but a game called Bright Memory Infinite.
Yeah. Bright Memory. You've mispronounced it before. It's Bright Memory Infinite.
Infinite.
Not Infinite.
Okay. Oh, Infinite.
Infinite.
Okay, right, yeah.
We have spoken about this before. This was
in the more of that then. But it looked like a fun FPS with lots of like graphical next gen bells and whistles, as I put it, basically.
I think I've talked about it before.
It looks okay.
Do you know what Xbox game I'm really looking forward to?
Yeah. What's that?
Halo Infinite.
Good.
Do you know which Toys to Life series I miss?
Which one?
Disney Infinity.
Do you know what my favourite quote from Toy Story is? To infinity be? No, that didn't work.
Was it to infinity?
Infinity? That goes a bit French. To infinity and beyond.
Hold on. White bread, brown bread. White bread, brown. Right. There's a snake in my boot.
Nice. I'm glad I'm not the only one who has like warm-up phrases you need to say to get an accent go.
There you go. Right. If you ever need a South African accent, remember that. White bread, brown bread.
White bread, brown bread. White bread,
brown bread. White bread, brown bread.
Brown bread.
Good.
Yes.
Lovely. Should we wrap up the show then?
Yes.
Please.
Podcast reviews. Let's have some, please.
Oh, yes.
Give us a review and we'll stop. We'll stop Tim talking for 5 hours on one episode.
It's my birthday tomorrow, so on the day you are hearing this, it's my birthday. For a present for me this year, please get me a podcast review, dear podcast listener. How's that? That's not too much.
I'm going to give you
ask,
this cool Mario Kart trophy.
I've got one of those. They're worth an absolute
You're
arse ton
a
of money.
podcast listener. You're a podcast.
You just have to review instead.
I got one of those Mario Kart trophies.
I know, we've had this conversation before.
I love it.
I don't.
They are, seriously, they're worth a buttload of money.
I know they are.
Oh.
Should we wrap up?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, why not?
Want to wrap up the show and not talk forever? It makes us look like amateurs.
All right. So we're going to end. Thank you ever so much for listening. We really appreciate it as always. And, joking aside, leave us a review, a nice, honest review with constructive feedback, because then we can make ourselves better for you. So, in the meantime, you should go to www.BigRedBarel.com or Facebook.com/BigRedBarel, or indeed Twitter.com/BigRedBarel. And if you go to BigRedBarel.com, you can find a little link to our Discord server where fun and games are abound. Coleman wants people to come play Avengers with him. He's even named rooms specially after people as well.
Can I just say? Sorry,
Yeah.
I know we're wrapping up. Because Iron Man's my main, and I jumped over for Captain America for a bit, and now I've leveled him up. Bloody hell! Captain America's fun. Like I can take there'll be like a big group of enemies. I can throw my shield. Hit 8 of them, and then when it comes back, just do like a spin kick the shield back, and then it just keeps on going for ages. Brilliant. I'm getting like all kinds of, when you overpower your character in Diablo, it's those kind of vibes I'm getting.
Is it like epilepsy inducing levels?
I love it. I love it. This game's so good.
I still might pick up a copy when it goes cheap, because I'm guessing it will soon.
Anyway, sorry, as you were saying, Dave.
Yes. So come join us on Discord. Come say hello. Increasing numbers of people actually doing Destiny stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
Keeps me off the street. You should come join us. Friendly
Forum's
place.
getting
Come
active.
say hi.
Yeah, it's getting active. I like it.
I like it. So, right. Well, that's enough from us. I think we're going to give you your ears back. And
two quick
really
things
just
before
remind you
Yeah.
that Tim's looking like he wants to say something. Yes, Tim?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to make quick points on. Just
All
in
right,
case you
so
hadn't
I'm
heard.
going to wind that back.
One sec. Yeah, just in case you hadn't heard, Loading Dalston has had to close its stores again.
Oh no!
Having had to kind of admit defeat on the fact that they can't really do what they do and remain safe at the moment, basically. So yeah, with numbers creeping up in London, they've had to make the decision to, which I'm sure was hard to do, but to close basically.
And on that note, if you want to see things get back to normal, wash your hands.
Yep.
Seriously, wash your hands. Go get the NHS COVID-19 test and trace app. Download that and do what you're told. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have none of this non-face mask wearing, COVID denying nonsense. It's real. Wear a mask.
Masks
Protect
help.
other people. Don't be a dick. All right.
Masks out for Harambe.
Yeah.
And just the other thing is, we'll probably have more news on this next week. But yeah, remember to go and check out Geek Out for Gosh at Geek Out for Gosh on Twitter and Facebook and other social media platforms, and generally check out Geek Out for Gosh on the Gosh website. It's a way of helping to raise money for Children's Hospital, which is Great Ormond Street, in case you weren't familiar what Gosh was. But yeah, it's a really important time to be raising money for hospitals at the moment, because they've lost a lot of their normal avenues of raising money. This is one way you can do it, through streaming and supporting other people that are streaming. As I said, there will be more news on this in coming weeks, because I've had some good news on this going forward. But yeah, just go check that out for now and go support that in any way you can, please.
Lovely. Coleman's doing an excellent Dr. Zed cosplay from Borderlands at the moment.
Yes.
No, I just knew it was going to just end up in bloody Bane, for God's sake.
Just wrap up
Anyway,
already.
we're really going to go now, so thanks ever so much for listening. We will be back next week, and all that really remains for us to do is to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
And I'm wearing a mask.
Oh, you really are a bellend. So, until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.
Well, I might as well add some then. They're going to be available in 8K. They're going to be 120 frames per second.
You'll get automatic platinums just for playing them.
Yes. Yep. Any DLC will now be free on those games.